You know, I had a really interesting couple in my courtroom this morning. Did you know that over 90% of fourth marriages end in divorce within 5 years? That was exactly the situation brought before me today in divorce court.
Divorce court is now in session.
Ms. Jones, Mr. Montgomery, you are married. You do not want to be married anymore. You two have no children together.
No.
But you have 10?
10.
10.
10.
Ms. Jones, you say once you got married that Mr. Montgomery went from being a husband to a father. Why don't you tell me why you say that?
Well, Judge Lynn, when me and Michael first started dating, we would go out, have fun. I could go out, do my own thing. He could go out, do his own thing. And we were fine with that. Once we got moved in together and actually started talking about marriage, he became more controlling, more possessive. If I wanted to go somewhere that he felt as though wasn't good enough for him or he didn't want me to go, then it would be a problem. We would argue about it. One time I went out with my friend. She came to pick me up so we can go to happy hour for a few hours. My husband had a problem with that.
Now, once you got married, did you feel like she was still going out too much as a single person, or?
Well, she knew what I wanted when I got married because I explained it to her.
What did you explain to her?
I told her I'm looking for a woman that I can depend on, trust, and love. I knew she was younger than me, and I knew that had a lot to do with the situation. But at the time, she
And I should note, you're 56.
Yes.
And you are 27.
Yes.
Big age difference, but Mr. Montgomery, go ahead.
And well, she knew that, and she knew what I wanted. And
now, how do you know she knew what you wanted?
Because
what did you say to her specifically?
Specifically, I told her, hey, I'm not looking for the drag queen girl, the pretty girl. I wanted someone down to earth.
Drag queen girl,
yeah,
pretty girl.
Yeah.
We need to define our terms for a moment here. You're not looking you weren't looking for a hot hoochie mama.
No.
That's what you said.
I wanted someone more settled. And at that time, she was settled, and she was different. But it seemed like once we got married, things just changed.
How did they change? Did she start wanting to go out without you? Did her drinking habits change? Did her friends change? What?
Well, not more so her friends changed. She changed. She wanted to go out more with her friends than with me.
Yeah,
hang on just a moment.
Which I understood to a certain point, but...
How long did you two date before you got married?
About 2 years.
2 years. Ms. Jones, do you think you changed once you got married?
No.
You think?
No, you know what? I do think I changed, and I changed for the better. I went from being who I was to who he wanted me to be, and that's part of what our problem is in our marriage.
Do you believe that what he wanted you to be is better than who you were?
In some ways, yes.
Okay. Tell me the difference between who you were and who he wanted you to be.
Who I was a 23-year-old alcoholic, going to the bar every night, partying every single night, go to sleep about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm right back up doing the same things. At that time, I was working, but I still like to have fun. I traveled, I did what I wanted to do. I don't have no children, so nobody was holding me back from anything.
Right.
But when I got with Mr. Montgomery, you know, things have changed. He wanted me to tone down my dressing, so I tried to tone down my dressing. I like short skirts, tight fitted. I have a small frame, so that's what I like. He expressed to me that he didn't like that anymore. So in the beginning, we used to argue about it because my thing with him was, this is how you met me, so why try to change me now? But as the relationship went on, I started to tone down because he was my husband, and I respected that. You don't want me in short skirts, you don't want me in short dresses, and I respected that.
Did you resent it at all? The fact that
Yes,
he
you
was
did.
telling you how to dress and where to go and who to be with?
Not in the beginning, no.
Mr. Montgomery, you disagree with that?
I disagree with that. Yes, she did. She resented it from the door. It wasn't that she portrayed herself to be, to me, something that she really wasn't.
What did she portray herself as?
She portrayed herself like, I want change. I want better.
To be better.
I want to do better. I want the nice car, this and that. I want all these things, and that's what I wanted, and that's what I've always been struggling for. And I thought I had that perfect person. But once we got married, it was like she went from Dr. Jekyll to Mrs. Hyde. I don't know what she did, but she
I
changed.
do have to ask you this, though. Didn't you notice the alcoholic part?
I saw some of it.
He was too busy flying out of town for a week at a time, coming back whenever he felt like it. So in the beginning, he didn't see it.
Do you feel like you really didn't know her when you married her? You were just hoping that she would become?
Yes.
Did you compromise, or not compromise? I don't want to say compromise, because you do think you are better off now than you were before as an individual, do you not?
Yes, I do, man.
Yeah, you're off that bar stool. You're not drinking, you know,
Yes.
like that anymore. So
No.
you did get something out of
Yes,
this.
I did.
Okay. But do you believe that in an effort to be who he wanted you to be, you lost too much of yourself in the process?
Yes, I did.
And was that the cause of the arguments?
No. Most of our arguments came from Mr. Montgomery's infidelity. When he gets attitudes with me, he contacts his ex-wives.
How many do you have? Exes?
3.
3 ex-wives.
Yes.
So you wife number 4. Did that scare you at all?
In the beginning,
You wife number 4?
In the beginning, no. But after we got married and we were into the marriage, it started to a little bit.
Have you ever sat back and reflected on what might be the common denominator between these multiple marriages? I mean, what goes wrong in the relationship? Is there anything that is consistent throughout the revolving door of wives that you have?
I like things a certain way. I'm a certain way. I do things a certain way.
So you are rigid.
I'm not, I wouldn't say rigid.
Yes, Your Honor.
Would your exes say rigid? Because rigid people never say rigid because they believe they're right.
All the time.
You know what I mean?
And I believe I'm right. I believe that. Yes, I do. And when it came to her, I gave Donisha lead ways to do things. I asked her to be my wife. And I
in the middle of an argument.
Do you see how that's a slip-up and not active deceit?
Well, I thought it was deceit. I thought she
I understand what
she
you
knew
thought,
what she was doing.
but do you see it how I see it?
No.
No. Okay, can't get there. Have you been living together for years but find that splitting up is as complicated as getting a divorce? Call toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Divorce Court. How does one get proposed to in the middle of an argument? Walk me through that conversation.
We were in the middle of an argument.
Do you know what you were arguing about?
I don't recall what we was arguing about. It probably was something stupid and petty, like most of our arguments are. And after the argument, he was just like, "Will you marry me?" And I guess in the middle of the moment, because we had been talking about it for so long, I guess it was
She
just
said,
like,
"Whatever, fine, I'll marry you."
We gonna get married and we gonna do this. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Montgomery, is that how you recall the proposal?
I think it was a little different. I already had in my mind that I wanted to marry her, and that I was going to ask her to marry me. But at the time when we had the argument, it was about some things that she was doing that I didn't like. She would tell me one thing and do another. Well, she tends to do that a lot.
Such as? Give me an example.
Such as, she would tell me, okay, well, I'm going to my dad's. About 3 or 4 hours went by, and I said, well, I had something to do. I said, well, let me call and let her know I'm getting ready to do some things, and I called her. And I specifically called her the way I normally do. I speed dialed it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 9 times I called. It kept ringing and going to voicemail.
That's your typical behavior, is to speed dial her 9 times in a row?
Well, yes, when I think she has lied to me, yes.
Okay.
And
Go ahead. I'm listening while I'm writing.
and she never answered the phone. Then she calls me back. Oh, I lost track of time. I was in the middle of a conversation. I couldn't answer my phone. So I said, well, whenever you with these family members, you never seem to be able to answer your phone. So she said, well, I'm on my way home, so forth and so on. We hung up. 5 minutes later, she texts me. Oh, don't be mad. I had a few drinks.
I said a drink.
Now, let me ask you this. Did you hear the 9 calls that he made to you?
First of all, Your Honor, Michael called me 3 times. And when he called me, my phone was inside of the house and I was outside of the house. So, no, I did not hear my phone. But when it was brought to my attention that my phone was ringing and handed it to me, I answered the phone. I said, I'm sorry, babe. I lost track of time. You know I'm at my family member's house, and I just lost track of time. I'll be there in a little
Sounds
while.
reasonable to me.
That's not good enough for him.
I miss a lot of calls on my phone just because it's in my purse. You know, can't hear it.
Well, maybe
People miss phone calls, you know.
maybe if she hadn't came home smelling of alcohol and text me and let me know that don't be mad because I've been drinking, maybe I wouldn't have felt that way.
Well, let me ask
But I
you.
felt that way because she to me, she just lied to me. She told me she was going to do one thing and she did something completely opposite.
No, she went to a family member's house. She just didn't say she was going to drink when she got over there. Is that right?
And that's
And that's what
accurate.
happened.
That's accurate.
But I had no plans on going to this family member's house to drink. I went to do something. He knew what I was going to do. I called him the whole time I was on my way.
She might have slipped
I called him when
up.
I got there, but I'm the one that told him that I had a drink after the fact that he called me, and I said, well, babe, I'm sorry. I lost
Do you
track of time.
understand the difference between a slip-up, a mistake, because you're not supposed to be drinking anymore or whatever, and active deceit? Do you see how that's a slip-up and not active deceit?
Well, I thought it was deceit. I thought she
I understand
knew, I think
what
she
you
knew
thought,
what she was doing.
but do you see it how I see it?
No.
No. Okay, can't get there. Okay, I get it. You relating these stories to me, your face, the back of your mind said, man, this doesn't sound right. You know, I'm coming off a little crooked here. Do you think it is wise for a young woman to marry an older man with 3 ex-wives? Vote now. Call 855-70-DIVORCE. Make your vote count. Call 855-70-DIVORCE and get your exclusive offers. If you would like your case to be heard on divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Divorce Court. Ms. Jones, you say that Mr. Montgomery didn't tell anybody in his family about you, and as a result thereof, they didn't know you were getting married, nobody showed up. Why don't you tell me what you don't think he told his family and why?
Well, in the beginning, I was shielded from Michael's family, his whole family, including mother, everybody, for the first 2.5 years we were together. Within that 2.5 years that we was together in the beginning, Michael was living with me. Nobody knew that. They thought that he was just doing what he wanted to do, coming, taking the kids to school when he had to, and going on back about his business. When we started talking about marriage, I asked him, was he going to tell his family, because I wanted the big wedding like any woman does. Mm-hmm. And we started to plan a wedding. Well, in the middle of the wedding, Michael decided he didn't want a big wedding because he didn't want to invite his family, basically. So it was me, him, and maybe 5 of my family members because he didn't want the big picture-perfect wedding.
Mr. Montgomery, did you keep Ms. Jones a secret from your family for any period of time?
My mother knew. My kids didn't.
Your kids didn't know.
but my mother did.
Okay.
The reason I didn't tell my children because she was so young.
His
And-
mother didn't find
But
out.
don't you think that they would find out about it eventually? If you're married to a woman, you see your kids on the regular, they'd figure out, oh, this chick's daddy's new wife.
Your Honor, can I say
Well-
one thing?
What?
When we were on our way to Mississippi, that's when his mother found out that we were married.
You know
But
what?
she didn't know. My mother knew.
Mr. Montgomery, let me say this about you. Here's a big black wall. And there's a little crack in it in which the light of rationality shines on you. And you can see that light, but you never quite look into it. And you're still standing behind that black wall. Because I can tell, as you're relating these stories to me, your face, the back of your mind said, man, this doesn't sound right. I'm coming off a little crooked here. This idea might have been a little crazy. Oh, wait a minute. You know what I mean? But when you go forward in your day-to-day life, you're behind that black wall, and you keep that crack of rationality in your peripheral vision. You got some issues, Mr. Montgomery, don't you think? 4 wives, didn't keep any of them. Not telling your mama you're getting married. Don't tell your kids you're getting married. You know, you're a little rigid, a little persistent. You see that, don't you?
Somewhat. I wanted to do it my way. And I did it my way.
You know what? I spent a lot of my life doing things my way. And you know what happened? It didn't turn out right until I decided that my way wasn't the way that was going to get me what I wanted. If you want a marriage, and if you want to be settled, and if you want happily ever after, your way isn't going to work. Because we know that. In divorce court, couples tell me everything about their relationships. Want to share your experience? Join the conversation on our Twitter page at Divorce Court. On Facebook, check out other fans and their intimate issues. You know everybody has something to say about love. What's on your mind? Mr. Montgomery, is anything that I just said to you about that little crack of rationality and that light and your rigidity make any sense to you?
Yes, it did.
And what do you intend to do about it when you leave here?
I'm going to still do it the way I want to do it.
Mm-hmm. And you'll still end up without a wife. You realize that.
Well, at this point, I think me and my wife, I don't know if we can work this out. I don't know if we can get past a lot of issues that we have. A lot of the main issues, like I said.
So you don't think this is over? This is what you're telling me.
Oh,
you don't think this is over?
Oh, I think it's done.
But you think you can get another one?
I don't think I ever want to get married again after this.
And you know what, Mr. Montgomery?
I don't think
that might not be a bad thing. Everybody isn't meant to be married. You know what I'm saying? And if you're a person who likes everything in a certain way, and it's always got to be that way, and any deviation from right down the middle of exactly what you want drives you crazy, you won't be able to live with anybody else. And so maybe what you ought to do, you got 10 kids, you got plenty to do. So maybe you might want to consider, instead of going younger and younger so it's more malleable and more malleable, because that's what rigid guys do. They marry younger and younger because they think that the young ones will be easier to mold into what you want, and it doesn't work out. Instead of doing that, make a full life for yourself and your kids by yourself so you won't keep rotating through all of this angst. Do you know what I'm saying? And to you, Ms. Jones, I'm going to say this. Bravo for whatever progress you made. And don't feel like you've wasted your time or done a wrong thing because you married a man who tried to make you into something else. While he was trying to make you into something else, you managed to make yourself into someone better than you already were. So again, bravo to you. Bravo to both of you for realizing this wasn't going to work out, and this matter is adjourned. You know, history can be a very good teacher if you bother to pay attention. If you're thinking about marrying a guy who's been married 3 times before, you might want to think again.